Your last state is what will be taken. And so it's not possible when you have stepped out of time into timeless eternity that something can be done in the realm of time to affect the decisions of the timeless eternity. Because if that is so, then we can all live our lives as we want, as terribly, as dishonestly, as ungodly as we want, and just tell a few people that, look, when I'm gone, just make sure you do so much of this for me so that God will change his mind. I'm sure you know that nobody would do that. And so it behoves us to live our lives in such a way that because we do not know, we cannot make the assumptions that I will transition when I'm good, when I'm great, when I'm fine, because we do not know the day, we do not know the hour. Here, Jesus Christ teaches a parable about 10 virgins. They are all virgins. Whatever your definition of a virgin is, it means unspoiled, untouched, potential, unharnessed, good, pure, clean, righteous, holy, devoted. That's virgin. You know, inexperienced, innocent. But yet we see that all these words that I've just listed did not qualify them into eternity. The door was shut to 5 of them. Why? Because they made assumptions. They made dangerous assumptions in their lives. They all decided that we are going to this wedding, we are going to receive the bridegroom, and we are going into the wedding feast. Now, nobody could tell. There are things outside of the power of your control and my control. And that's why most times when we talk, we say, if it pleases God, by the grace and the mercy of God. Because we do not own the world. We cannot say for sure this would happen. We can look at the train timetables, the plane timetables. We can look at, past experiences and extrapolate into the future. But we are not God. It's interesting the kinds of weather we are having in this month and the month prior to this. These are not months technically when it's cold. It's supposed to be warm and hot, but it's chilly. I remember a couple of months ago, it even rained. And we wondered what happened, because all we knew that it would rain in the rainy season. Suddenly there was torrential downpour in January. And you're like, what's happening? I remember I was in New York in March, just for like a week, and suddenly it snowed. I even thought it was dust. It snowed in March. And so there are assumptions we cannot make in life, that last year it was like this, so it's going to be like this year. Last week I was good in the exam, this week I'm going to be good. These 10 virgins decided to go to this wedding, and because it was going to be nighttime, they took their Aladdin lamps, let's use that, kerosene lamps. And the lamps, as you know, have oil, and then there's a wick that goes down into the trough, and then it goes through absorption to the top, and then when you light the wick, it gives light, preferably the bluish, orange, more of the blue than the yellow, so you can see well. Okay, they were waiting. Let's assume that they went by 5 in the evening. They didn't need their lamps, but they had said, well, let's take this amount of lamp or oil in our lamp, because I'm sure latest by 8. The last wedding, they came by 8. I'm sure let's give and take 9. 9:30, latest 10. These are assumptions people make in life. All kinds of assumptions. Well, I know the questions will be like that. Last week it was 3 people on the interview panel. I'm sure it's the 3 people. One of them is my friend. You know, people make all kinds of assumptions. My uncle sits on the board. And so the hours came, darkness came. They must have trimmed their lamps, put them on, 8, 9, 10, and certainly from the scriptures, we see that the bridegroom was delayed. They became sleepy, so they trimmed their lamps and they slept, or maybe they even left them on. The difference between the 2 sets of virgins is that 5 of them had anticipated that just in case, or in the event that this bridegroom is delayed, let us carry with us extra oil. Extra oil in our bags, in our vessels. There are people who don't like to be bothered. You know, what they are holding is what they are holding. They don't want extra things on them. They get too bothered, or, excuse my language, too lazy to add extra. And so there were 10 of them expecting the bridegroom. The bridegroom didn't come. All 10 slept. 5 had extra oil for their lamps. 5 didn't. And the Bible says here in verse 6 of Matthew's Gospel, chapter 25, that at midnight there was a cry. The bridegroom is coming. He's coming at midnight. He's coming like on the verge of the next day. We went to see him on a Sunday. He's appearing midnight into Monday morning. Did we plan for that? 5 didn't. And so when they woke up, maybe rubbed their eyes and tried to trim their lamps, and 5 of them saw that this oil cannot do the job. They turned to the 5 wise and said, please give us some of your extra oil because our lamps are going out. The 5 said to them, no. Basically what the 5 said to them is that when we were getting extra oil, where were you? When we were studying, you were watching television. When we were studying, you were going to the beach. When we were studying, you were cracking jokes. When we were studying, you were doing many things. So when we were acquiring extra oil, when we were buying, when we were digging in, when we were adding value to our lives, when I was doing IT, when I was learning French, when I was learning Arabic, when I was going to the gym, you were laughing because you assumed that you had it all under control. So the 5 wise said, we can't do it. There's not enough for us and for you. We don't even know how long this wedding feast would last. We don't want to be there and suddenly our oil goes off and people laugh at us. They see us as ill-prepared, not planned. We are sorry. So go and buy where we all bought from. Now you may say they are wicked, they are evil, they are our friends. If they are friends, they should have helped us. But the things they had, you had access to them. While they were building themselves in their skills, why didn't you? Every place in this world where you see people doing well ethically, they have paid the price. They have added value to their lives. Some have stooped to conquer. They have repeated classes. They have taken extra classes. They have cut down from 3 meals to 1 meal. They have gone into involuntary fasting just to be able to do things. They have, refused to buy a new shirt, a new trowel, a new dress, extra human hair until they finish the house they are building because they don't want to rent anymore. You can't just assume that all will be well. Even the things you know today, we can't assume that it will be there tomorrow. As we see our world today, it's shocking. Nations that we all looked up to are crumbling economically before us. And everybody seems to be turning their face towards Africa when Africans are still trying to run to other places. To cut a long story short, before we end, they of course went to buy at midnight. They must have rapped on somebody's door who maybe opened for them. And chances are when you do these things, you buy at a higher rate than you'd have already bought because you are bothering the person and he can tell that you are in a fix. So whatever price they give you, you buy. Those are the dangers of assumption. You can get into trouble. You can get into emotional problems. You can get into sexual trouble. You can get into things that make you compromise your integrity, your morality, and all the things you stood for because you did not take the time to add extra into your life. So they bought the oil, but the distance to go, to buy, to pay, to take the change and come back, the bridegroom had come. And when the bridegroom came, those who were ready, I repeat, those who were ready went in, and the Bible says the door was shut. This is not Paul who said it, not Peter who said it, not Moses, not Yahya, not Dauda. It is Jesus Christ himself that said the door was shut because there's a door that will be shut. And when it's shut, it's shut. No man can open it. And those who were ready went into the feast. And then these people came and banged on the door. Lord, Lord, please open to us. Look at us. We were righteous. We wanted to. And the answer was, I'm sorry. I do not know you because you are unprepared. You do not have extra oil. You played the dangerous game with dangerous assumptions. I'm sorry. We can't have you in. I know you have oil. I know you have your lamp. I know you have extra oil, but it's too late. As I end this session, my thoughts are, let that not happen to us. On the normal practical level, from exams to relationships to jobs to appointments to payment schedules to all kinds of things, let's take extra. Let us err on the side of extra, because if you take people out for dinner and you do not have enough money, you can get into trouble.